So I'm sure by now you've already heard about the Heliopolis bounty that happened. This was by far the biggest bounty we've ever seen in the game. I've only really seen bounties in the hundreds range, maybe even 200s at most. Seeing something at 10,000 was actually crazy for us. And you may have also even heard of the doggy bounty, where someone actually put in $10,000 for doggy to verify grief in the next 5 days. Now, obviously, that's highly unlikely. However, the fact that we got two 10,000 bounties in like just a couple days from each other is super crazy. But one you might not have heard of is a different bounty that is $1,000. Now I know 1,000 is not 10,000, it sounds way less. However, if you look at the general scope of bounties in this game, that is genuinely so much money. And of course, it is Zoink Never Clear. This is an absolute beast of a level, which I don't even know if this can get verified, but it has a bounty on it now. And what's special about this level is that it's two-player, not in the grief sense where there's a couple clicks, but it's like a genuine two-player level. The original version of this was made as an active attempt to become like the hardest two-player level ever, like the magnum opus for two-player levels, to be way above codependence. As you can see, the unnerfed version of Zoink Never Clear currently sits in the top 400 on the ILL, being pretty much at the peak of something that is actually reasonable for a human to do in our lifetime. To put that into perspective, Eternus is over 200 spots lower. Now, I know that the ILL is having a problem regarding its list placement's accuracy right now, but this is relative to where Eternus should be, and that is genuinely crazy. That is so much harder. I mean, Thinking Space 2 is 834, so you can see the absolute gap that Eternus has on that, and then the absolute gap that Zoink Never Clear is from Eternus. Now, obviously, that version of Zoink Never Clear is never getting verified anytime soon, so the bounty would mean nothing. However, obviously, the creator knew this, so he has created a new version, and this one removes all of the 240 FPS frame perfects that make this just super luck based, and now it is a really skillful two-player challenge where you are going to need some of the best players, or at least the most dedicated players in the game to verify this. Now, what I think is cool is that there is a $100 prize for people who do it two-player, as in you have two players doing it at once, and the big 1,000 that you see there is for one single person doing this solo. I think that's really cool because it makes this bounty more approachable, and it also just makes this a lot more fun to watch. It kind of means that we can see this get verified multiple times, which I think preserves the hype. That's really cool. What's interesting is this wasn't actually nerfed that much. This is probably the part that got the most nerfs. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff that got changed here. The beginning got butchered a bit. However, a lot of this is just unchanged, like completely unchanged, which is crazy for something this hard to have very little buffs. As you can see, there's not much red or blue here. Nothing's really being changed. This is the raw unnerfed gameplay. So my guess is that this version doing it solo is probably still harder than Eternus, if not around that Eternus range, which is definitely out of our current reach by a long shot. However, we've seen people make progress on Eternus. It's reasonable to at least attempt for progress at our current skill, and obviously with our current rate of progression in a couple years' time, this could definitely be a legitimate thing that we could see get verified, especially that two-player bounty. I think seeing someone do this with another player for the 100 bounty would be super, super cool. It would be a tough challenge, but it's definitely super doable, and I would love to see that. Now, I have seen a lot of people say that these bounties are just not enough, and I'm pretty sure the creator of this level knew that 1,000 wouldn't be enough. In fact, it was originally just going to be 100 for solo as well, until a very appreciative person decided to up the bounty to 1,000 for them. Now, I think people that are really fussed about this bounty are not really getting the big picture. The bounty is just a way to put eyes on the level and put attention. It's a way to get people in to playing the level. However, the people that are actually going to be committed to fully going through with this, they're not going to be doing it for the bounty. Even the massive 10k on Heliopolis, like, that's in America. I believe that someone pointed out it is 4 months of work at McDonald's. Yeah, if you're wanting to do it for the money, just get an actual job. I know that might be hard in our current day of age, but the bounty isn't the point. The point is that the people who are going to be doing this are the ones that don't care about the money, and they're gonna be the most dedicated players. This bounty is so that we have as many people seeing the level, so the level can maybe get the attention of those super grind heavy players. But that is pretty much all. I mean, I could talk about how cool this level is, but if you want to appreciate the level, watch the full video, watch the full showcase after this. It has got some really cool parts, especially this part that you're seeing in the thumbnail. I won't spoil how it looks. You probably even saw it in this video already, but I would just check this level out. It's super cool. That's all from me. Peace.